Many of our problems come from the answers that we collected throughout life, especially as kids, to the question, what do I need to do to be loved? What makes me valuable? And you can find deep-rooted solutions to your struggles by identifying your subconscious sources of worth and ending your chase after worth. What did you have to do to be loved as a child? What made you valuable in the eyes of your parents and caregivers? How is what you're currently struggling with connected to these answers? Here's some examples. Someone who learned that they need to take care of others to be valuable as an adult probably needs to feel overextended, exhausted, and needs to neglect themselves in order to feel good about themselves. Someone who learned that they were loved for being dependent and in need of support later probably struggles with taking on ownership over their responsibilities and competencies. Someone who learned that they needed to be submissive in order to be loved later probably struggles with assertiveness and authenticity. Someone who learned that they need to detach from their emotions to be valuable later struggles with emotionality and emotional intimacy. Our sense of our own worth can also be tied to other conditions: followers, likes, approval, reputation, success, money, possessions, certain experiences, our taste in art, the uniqueness of our opinions and thoughts, power, being better by comparison, beauty, youth. If we feel that these are the things that make us valuable, then these are the answers we give to the sentence, I'm okay if or when I'm beautiful, successful, or have a lot of followers. The problem with all of these sources of worthiness is that they turn life into a chase after worth. Instead of living from a place of given fundamental worthiness, which makes us feel calm, secure, confident, content, we constantly seek out confirmations of our worth if we define our worth by these types of sources of worthiness. And this usually ends up being harmful to our health and relationships because it makes us neglect our core needs and emotional intimacy. This chase then defines our life instead of the things that authentically resonate with our inner world. This chase is why we can end up feeling like a stranger in our own life, because it makes us more focused on approval and fitting in than on the things that actually are alive in us. This chase makes us invest energy and time into things that we actually don't care about or not to that extent. It makes us lose time and energy for the things that really matter to us: relationships, friends, family, fulfilling goals and values. It keeps us on the constant run to upgrade and upvalue ourselves. It's a bottomless pit. When we tie our worth to ifs and conditions like this, it makes our self-esteem very fragile and unstable. It's only high when the conditions are met, and if not, it's low. Also, many of these ifs aren't under our control. We may be able to influence them somewhat, but ultimately, we can't control what someone else will think, or exactly how successful we'll be, or the fact that we get older and also start looking older. When we define our worth over things that are not under our control, we give our power away, and that creates a constant underlying sense of anxiousness and restlessness. Also, these ifs and conditions make us extra anxious whenever we're in a situation that is tied to them, and with that, also our subconscious definition of worth. If your sense of your own worth is tied to performance, You'll be stressed whenever you're performing or you're doing something you could fail at. If it's tied to approval, you'll be stressed whenever another person seems to be judging or appraising you. If it's tied to meeting expectations, you'll be stressed whenever you assume that someone has expectations. The healthy alternative to this chase is the mindset of, I'm enough. I'm whole. I can be myself. I can let my guard down. I can relax. I can stop running. My authentic self is lovable and valuable. Freedom from this chase means you'll then be able to do what you actually truly want. You can come out of hiding. You can be yourself and experience true emotional intimacy with others. To get there, find your own personal answers to what this chase looks like for you. What are you chasing and why? What are your subconscious assumptions about worth behind your chase? What do these beliefs make you chase to be lovable, to become valuable? What did you have to do for your parents to be lovable to them? In what ways are you still doing these things now? Now imagine you'd stop your chase. What would that free you up to do? Who would that free you up to be? What would that be and feel like? What would be a next step into this direction? Learn to notice whenever you fall back into the mindset of your own personal chase for worth. Observe the urges, sensations, thoughts, and emotions that are connected to your chase after worth. Observe them come and go from a distance, from the observer's perspective, and let them drift by like clouds. Reconnect with your new mindset of, I'm lovable, I'm valuable, I can be myself, I'm enough. Learn to notice whenever you come back to the starting point of your chase. The starting point is the question, am I lovable? Am I valuable? Am I enough? Should I pretend to be a different person? These are not helpful questions to ask, and not things that should even be questioned. Remind yourself, these questions were planted into my mind a long time ago by the way my parents interacted with me and modeled self-esteem. This is an old question. It's not the right question to guide me. I've spent way too much time trying to answer this question and prove my worth already. I can stop engaging with this question and stop trying to find proof of my basic worth. Our life is an answer to the kinds of questions we ask. If we spend life asking and then trying to find answers to the question, am I valuable? We'll miss out on actually living life. We'll spend life trying to find an answer to a question that doesn't even need to be raised. Your worth isn't in need of proof. Better questions to ask are, what makes me come alive authentically? What inspires me? What resonates with me? What's important to me? What do I want my life to stand for? I'm okay. I'm enough. Life is full of possibilities. One day at a time, I'm figuring out what I want to do with my life, my enoughness and potential, not for the sake of proving my worth, for the sake of what's authentically alive in me, for the sake of what's important to me, for the sake of my values. When you stop chasing for a treasure or light that you don't think you have, in places where it can't be found, You're free to find it where it actually is, inside you. And to live your life inspired and informed by that treasure and light. To find these authentic inner sources of guidance and value, we need to allow them to catch our attention from within. Instead of chasing after your worth on the outside, listen within. Your inner world is worth listening to. Your inner world has so many good things to say and express. It's a much better guide than the doubt. Am I lovable? And the more you listen in, and then also make room for what's alive in you on the outside in your life, the more the mindset, I'm enough, will become a lived experience for you. The more you show of your authentic self, the more satisfying your relationships will be, the closer you'll feel to others, and you'll make the experience of being loved for you and not for a fancy mask or portrayal of absolute normalcy. The more you allow your inner world and authentic self to make decisions about how you spend your time and energy, the more you'll experience how that is enough, lovable, valuable, fulfilling, and how that works out. The more you focus on living your life instead of proving your worth, the less anxious you have to be about supposed sources of worth working out for you. Success or failure, approval or disapproval. They don't shake you to your core anymore because they no longer define your worth. Thanks for being here. Consider subscribing if you haven't, and check out my newsletter if you want to. Till next time, take care. And remember, instead of asking, am I lovable? Ask, what's important to me at this moment? How can I express what's alive in me?